right, so we're going to split this test breakdown up into a couple different videos so you don't have to scroll through one big long video if you're just struggling on one particular set of questions. All right, and then after each problem, it'll also pause and tell you which problem's in your review packet to work on. So the test starts out 1 through 8. It says find the area of the shaded region. Round answers to the nearest tenth if necessary. Now I didn't shade this figure, but let's assume the whole thing is shaded. All right, so in this case, what we need to do is figure out the area of the shape. So you could split it down into its base parts, right? You could have a triangle here, and then you could have a triangle here, and then the parallelogram in between. Or I could treat this as one big trapezoid, which is what I'm going to choose to do. So then the area of the trapezoid formula, and again, make sure you have your review done, or your study guide, sorry. Make sure you have your study guide done so that you can use it on your test next Wednesday, because you'll want all these formulas and I will not give them to you. So area of a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times your height. So now it's just a matter of plugging stuff in. So I'd have 1/2, base 1 is 23, let's say, that's the bottom. And then the plus base 2, which is 26. Uh-oh, problem, we don't have the height. That's all right, we can find the height because we have a right triangle. And we know the hypotenuse is 10, the base is 3, so how could I find the leg? Well, the easiest way, and the only way in this case, is Pythagorean theorem. So I have 3 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. So that's 9 plus x squared equals 100. Subtract 9 from both sides. So I get x squared equals 91, and then square root. And for now, we're just going to leave that as is. And then you're going to type all this into your calculator. So you're going to get 1/2 of, I would go ahead and do this math, so 49 times square root of 91. Let me just pull up my calculator here. So I'd have 49 square root of 91 times 49 times 0.5, or divide by 2, right? Same thing. So I get the area to be 233.7 because it said round to the nearest tenth. That would be my answer. Okay? Again, you could have used trapezoid. I used trapezoid. You could have broken it down into a parallelogram and 2 triangles. It's really up to you what you prefer. All right, you do have one like that, or a couple composite figures like that on your test. All right, let's look at same set. So we're still finding area of the shaded region, but now it gives us this. So what is not labeled right now that should be labeled is that this is a regular polygon. Okay, this is a regular polygon. So our formula for area of a regular polygon, which in this case is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, so the area of my hexagon in this case, is equal to 1/2 my apothem times perimeter. All right, so to find all that stuff, we use this right triangle that's drawn in here for us, right? And so this angle up here is 30. And if you didn't know that angle, you would say it's 360 divided by 6, because there's 6 sides, which would give you 60. And then that's really for this whole big triangle here. So then you divide that by 2 to get the 30 degrees. Okay, because yeah, you won't be given that angle on your test. All right, so then we use the right triangle. So there's actually 2 different ways you could do this. Personally, I prefer the special right triangle rules because they're simpler, they're faster. But if you don't remember the right triangle rules, you can always use SOHCAHTOA. So you might want, I know there's a back empty blank side on your study guide. Feel free to write SOHCAHTOA and the special right triangle rules on the back of your study guide. That would be totally fine. So across from 30, so let's see, hypotenuse here is 5. But my special rule here, across from 30 is x. Across from the 60 then would be x squared to 3. And across from 90 is 2x. So if 2x is 5, that means x has to be 2.5. And that means x squared to 3 would be 2.5 square roots of 3. Okay, this is my apothem. This side here, this is my apothem. And this, and then for this, right, because I need perimeter, so I'd have 1/2 my apothem, which is 2.5 square root of 3. Oops, my decimal went away there. And then for perimeter, I take this number and I times 2. So s is equal to 5. Okay. And then I take, for perimeter, I take the number of sides times s, which in this case would be 6 times 5. So my perimeter is 30. So plug that in there. So I'd have 1/2, so 0.5 times 2.5 times 30. So I get 37.5, whoops, square root of 3 for my area of my hexagon. And yes, we're going to have to get rid of that square root of 3, but I'm leaving it till the very end so that I don't have to round anything and I don't have to write down a super long decimal. Okay, then I also need to find the area of the circle here, which this radius, this is my radius, so it's 5. So remember, area of a circle is pi r squared. So my area of my circle would be 5 squared times pi. So that means the area of my circle is 25 pi. So then to find the area of the shaded region, which is the stuff not inside the hexagon, I'm going to take 25 pi minus 37.5 square roots of 3. Okay, now if you're doing this on a nice graphing calculator or even a nice scientific calculator, you should be able to put parentheses around that and put parentheses around that, and you can do it all in one step. Okay, if you can't do that, if you're using one of like, well, even my little calculators, you can do that, but maybe you have a calculator you can't, that's fine. What I would do is I would take 25 times pi, okay, and I get an ugly number, right? I would put that in your memory plus. And then I would take 37.5 times square root of 3. So I would take square root of, I would take square root of 3 times 37.5, get an answer. Right? And then you should be able to do memory recall. Right? And then subtract, so then minus your memory. And it's going to give you a negative number because we did it backwards. But just know your answer would be positive, so it's positive 13.6 rounding to the nearest tenth. All right. So technically you should probably do it the other way. You should probably do square root of 3 times 37.5, get that in your memory. And then do 25 times pi and subtract your memory answer, okay? I will be back on Tuesday, so if you need help figuring out how to put that in your calculator, I can definitely help you with that then. Otherwise, just like set it up like I have here, and then I can help you with that last step. Alrighty? So that is 1 through 8 is kind of like that. You'll have some with the like parts of it filled in. You'll have some that are all filled in. You just really, really, really need to make sure that you have your area formulas filled out on your study guide. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do 9, 10 on this video. So here we go, 9 and 10. It's gonna give you two shapes. It's gonna say that they're similar, right? So it's gonna say like A, B, C, D is similar to E, F, G, H, right? And since they're similar, that means I can compare things. I can make ratios. I can make scale factors. So the scale that it gives you right now is an area scale, and it says that it's 20 to 80. Right? And directions are going to find x. So area would reduce to 2/8, which would reduce to 1/4. But that's area. Now, what I'm looking for is a side. So in order to find a side, to go from area to sides, or area to perimeter, I need to square root this. So for sides, I need to square root 1/4. Well, the square root of 1 is 1, the square root of 4 is 2. So my scale from sides is 1 to 2. So now I just set up my proportion. So now I'd say 1/2. Now the small one's on top, so I gotta make sure I put the small side on top, is equal to 5/x. Right, and then I can cross multiply. So I get x equals 10. Right, there we go, it's that simple. Alrighty, hopefully that made sense. It's not meant to be one of the harder problems. So, but if you do have questions, make sure you're making a note of it, and then asking me on Tuesday, because your test will be on Wednesday. All right, with that, we'll wrap up this video, and I'll have another one posted for the next 2 or 3 problems.